I got to give credit when credit is due. The Hollywood Reporter has put a fantastic piece together here that I'm going to kind of go over a little bit. I want to focus on what they had to say about the mouse, though. That's where I'm going to really focus on with this video. But I got to say, this is a really good article going over a lot of the ways that the current Hollywood machine bends over backwards to make China happy. So you can see here from the headline, from deal frenzy to decoupling, is the China-Hollywood romance officially over? And it's a very long article. I mean, as you can see here, it goes over a lot of the history of China and Hollywood and how they've kind of went over and invested a lot into theaters and movie companies here. It's a pretty good piece. I gotta say, a little biased in some spots, but for the most part, not too bad. Not too bad. Now, what I want to focus on though is where they talk about Disney. Disney is probably the most powerful media company in America. I think they own the most studios now, with them owning Fox, and they own the most probably content, right? I gotta say, between all the stuff they've bought up, and they're a powerhouse. Now, whether this comes back to bite them in the ass in the long run because of all the money they've spent on Fox, I don't know. Only time will tell. But they've gone out of their way. In fact, they've bent over backwards to please China over the past couple of years. It's ridiculous. And now, thanks to the Hollywood Reporter, we actually have even more evidence on that, as they expose some emails that they received from Disney asking them not to use certain phrases. So you had that movie No Man's Land that won an Oscar that I haven't watched it. I guess maybe I should. If you've seen it and it's good, let me know in the comments below, and maybe I'll check it out. But the main thing they focus on here is the director of the movie, who, from what I understand, lives here now. I don't think she has any intention of going back to China. And she's had some comments about living in China that aren't flattering to them. In fact, she's described it as a country of lies. And because of that, she's pretty much getting depersoned over there. They're erasing her. This is the reason why Eternals and Shang-Chi, well, Shang-Chi's having some trouble getting released there because they consider the movie offensive. The Eternals might have a problem getting released there because she directed it. She's being depersoned, essentially. That's what I've gathered from it, is that they're erasing her. I guess they've already erased some of her victories that she's had before. But Marvel they apparently missed the cue on this one, and they were trying to lean into the fact that she's Chinese. And it's okay. Well, let me just read you what happened here. The Hollywood Reporter might be sensing a shift in the tide as they readily exposed Disney's China agenda in a lengthy article discussing the relationship between Hollywood and China. The article opens up with outing Disney's China agenda by publishing part of an email sent to members of the press instructing them to describe No Man director Chloe Zhao as Chinese or a Chinese national. So they want that promoted. It's almost like they don't really care about her skills as a director. They care about who she is because they think that it will get them some kind of sway with China, and that's far from the actual fact. She appears to not have any love for them at all. One of the reasons that the Oscars was banned from China, from what I understand, is because during the Oscars, she got up there and said, America is my home now, not China. Like, she's not showing them any love. In fact, she seems quite happy to be here and not there. And in some ways, she could be throwing her Hollywood career in the garbage by doing this, but I respect her conviction for doing this. Like, she's got this Marvel job. You know, they're probably hassling her like, look, we can't outright say that we hired you to make China happy, but, you know, you need to fall in line. And she's not doing that. She's like, you know what? I'm not going to kiss their ass. And I kind of respect that. That's pretty respectable, I think. They've got some more here. According to THR, a Disney executive emailed, please note in your ongoing coverage of Nomadland that Chloe Zhao is a Chinese filmmaker. The executive added, you may accurately refer to her as Chinese or a Chinese national. It's like, whoa, you need to put that in here. You know what I'm saying? And this apparently wasn't the first time they had done so. For months, the studio had been making clandestine efforts to avoid agitating the Chinese Communist Party when it came to Zhao. In fact, they report that sources tell them that a Disney publicist throughout Searchlight persuaded the small New York-based filmmaker magazine to remove a quote from a 2013 profile on the director. And that is crazy. This is basically something on the inspiration for her first film, Songs My Brother Taught Me. And the quote in question read, it goes back to when I was a teenager in China, being in a place where there are lies everywhere. She added, you felt like you were never going to be able to get out. A lot of info I received when I was younger was not true, and I became very rebellious towards my family and my background. I went to England suddenly and relearned my history. Studying political science in a liberal arts college was a way for me to figure out what is real. Arm yourself with information and then challenge that too. The quote led to immense backlash among Chinese social media users, so much so that the CCP banned the Oscars due to her comments. Not only did they ban the Oscars, but they also scrubbed the director's victory from Chinese social media websites and the Chinese-controlled internet. They didn't deperson her, but that Oscar win? No, that didn't happen. You'd say it happened, you might end up working in a camp that makes products for Apple. So you better not talk about that director's accomplishment. That's messed up. And it's not just the Oscars where she's facing backlash. There's a report from Variety that her upcoming Eternals movie may get banned from China. I've talked about that before. So this is pretty interesting stuff. Another thing they have in here that I wanted to show you guys is just how much money they make in China. Total, the last 6 MCU movies in China have grossed a total of $1.5 billion. You can't ignore that. Look at the Avengers Endgame total, $629 million in China. Infinity War earned $359 million. Captain Marvel, $153 million. Black Panther brought in $104 million. Ant-Man and the Wasp grossed $120 million. And Spider-Man Far From Home brought in $205 million. That's numbers that they need, especially right now. And this is one of the reasons why they're probably sweating pretty hard, because Shang-Chi and the Eternals might not even release there, which is bad news for them. I'm willing to say they'll probably get them out there. What they're going to do about the Eternals, though, I wonder if they'll just agree to scrub the fact that she was the director of the movie there, and I wonder how she'll feel about that. You know, she seems to be a woman of integrity, and I wonder if she would walk away from Marvel if that happened. In fact, I wonder if Marvel will even work with her again, because it's very, very clear that Disney bends over backwards for the CCP. They've been doing it for a while. Bounding into Comics notes in their article about how they shut down all broadcasting of NBA games for a year after Houston Rockets general manager Daryl Morey expressed support for Hong Kong by tweeting "Fight for Freedom, stand with China, Hong Kong." Remember that? LeBron James being a good little shill, saying let's not talk about China, stuff like that. They also talk about in this article how Disney just ignores everything going on over there, particularly with the camps. I mean, that's a big thing. They don't talk about that. But you know, if it had to deal with their parks or something, there would be a blackout in the media. Like it's just funny. So interesting stuff. It's good to see this get exposed and talked about because it really doesn't get the acknowledgement that it should. They're heavily affecting our culture with the way they control our movies in some ways. So nice to see. Nice to see them actually get called out. And nice to see the Hollywood Reporter, which is a mainstream site, talk about it. You don't see it very often, so I do give them some kudos. Anyway, that's pretty much it. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments below. Also, if you would please like, subscribe, share the video. Make sure you're still subscribed. Hit that notification bell. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.